So later on today, we will be having the new Warzone Pacific update with the Caldera map, and we will be getting 40 brand new weapons that are coming from Vanguard's multiplayer. Now in this video, we're going to be going over what are the 5 best Modern Warfare guns you can use on the new Caldera map. And the reason why I'm making this video is because not everyone actually has Vanguard's multiplayer where they can level up all the weapons early. So let's talk about some guns that you can use right now that'll be meta inside Warzone. If you enjoy weapon stat breakdowns, weapon comparisons, and just overall tips and tricks for Warzone, don't forget to subscribe to the channel as we're trying to reach our goal of 10,000 subscribers. We will be posting tons of content when the update drops. Also subscribe to our second channel as well, we'll be posting tons of content over there. But let's get on to the list. At number 5, we have the CR56 AMAX. This gun used to be meta for a long time, but right now this gun is still pretty solid inside Warzone, especially as our long range option. And if you check out Warzone Ranked, a lot of players are still using this gun and doing pretty well with it as well. So for the muzzle, you do want to use the mono suppressor. For the barrel, you want to use the Zodiac barrel. Under barrel's the Commando foregrip. Magazine's the 45 round mags. And the optic is the VLK optic. Now this is pretty much the meta build for the AMAX, and it's been like this for an absolute while, but you could use an iron sight build on this as well if you wanted to use a tac laser, for example. But like I said, that VLK optic build is definitely the best. This gun still hits pretty hard. It's not probably quite as good as some of the kind of Cold War weapons that are in the game at the moment, but those are probably getting nerfed as well when the Vanguard weapons come in. But like I said, this is definitely going to be a solid option for long range. At number 4, we have what used to be at one point in time the most popular SMG in the game, and that is the Modern Warfare MP5. And again, for the build for this weapon, I did change it up a little bit, and the reason why is because with Cold War weapons you get an absolute ton of movement, and it's just going to move a lot quicker than the Modern Warfare guns. And then I do think the same is going to happen with Vanguard as well with all those weapons, because you're going to get 10 attachments now, so you do need to make sure this gun can compete when it comes to the Warzone's Pacific update. So for the barrel, you do want to use that integral suppressor for the sound suppression and the bullet velocity. It does con your aim down sight time a little bit here. For the laser, you do want to choose the 5mm laser for the better hip fire accuracy. We're not using any other attachments that are going to help with hip fire. Then we're going to choose the collapsible stock, which is going to help with movement speed and aim down sight speed, which is definitely all we need here. Then we are going to go for the stipple grip tape for the faster aim down sight speed and the faster sprint to fire speed. And then lastly, for the magazine, I'm going to go for the 45 round mags. And again, like I said, we're not using any underbarrels here because we're mainly focusing on having this weapon move as fast as possible so it can compete with some of the other SMGs in the game. Still a solid SMG overall in Warzone, doesn't kill quite as fast as some of the other options or as fast as it used to itself. But like I said, it's definitely something a lot of people can use and still do well with. At number 3 is almost came full circle now with the M4A1. The M4A1 is a pretty solid weapon inside Warzone right now. It can compete with the XM4. It's got a very similar TTK, but in some cases I do think this is a little bit easier to manage at those longer ranges because the recoil doesn't have much side-to-side bounce or much visual recoil compared to the XM4, so it could actually be a better replacement for the XM4 in the current meta anyway. But for the muzzle, you do want to use that monolithic suppressor for the sound suppression and the damage range. For the barrel, you want to use the Grenadier barrel, and this is going to be the best for long range engagements. That's really where you want to be using the M4, pair it with something like an MP5. Then for the underbarrel, you want to use the Commando foregrip once again for the recoil stabilization. That is the main focus here. And then the 60 round mags is definitely an absolute must, especially when using weapons at long range. Then you can go for a couple of different options here. You can go for a tac laser build because the iron sights, depending on which blueprint of the M4 you use, can be pretty clean for the most part. But in my opinion, I would recommend the optic build, and that is just to make it a lot easier at beaming enemies at long range. But like I said, this gun is still pretty solid at long range. It's also really good at that medium range distance as well because the fire rate is really quick compared to some of the other rifles in the game, and especially compared to the Vanguard weapons. A lot of those have really slow fire rates, especially the assault rifles. So like I said, this is going to be still a solid option. At number 2 and at number 1, we have the Grau and the Kar98. Now, I'll give you the builds in just a second, but as you can see here, these are the 2 most popular Modern Warfare weapons in the game right now, and the Kar98 is getting picked 3rd overall out of every single weapon in the game, and the Grau is actually getting picked 6th out of every single weapon in the game. So these guns are ranked very highly for pick rate, and a lot of people are using these weapons. So like I said, these guns are definitely solid options inside Warzone as well. So for the Grau build, you do want to use the monolithic suppressor for the sound suppression as well as the damage range. They've modeled a lot of suppressors off of this one right here, especially for Cold War. They had to change the agency to match this, and then on top of that, inside Vanguard, they've also matched the monolithic suppressor as well with those suppressors. Then for the barrel, you do want to use the Archangel barrel. This is the best for the best bullet velocity, the best damage range. You also get the really clean iron sights with the Grau with this barrel. Now you can use it with iron sights, you can also use it with an optic. We'll get onto that in just a second. The under barrel, you do want to use the Commando foregrip. This is going to be for the best recoil stabilization. You want to control the side to side recoil as best as you possibly can. Then for the mags, you want to go for the largest possible, the 60 round mags. And then, like I said, the last couple of options here you've got is you can either go for the tac laser build, which is what I would highly recommend here. It's going to make your gun a little bit faster when it comes to those medium range gunfights, and then you've got a super clean iron sight for long range. But you can also use the VLK optic if you do struggle to see those targets at those longer range distances. The optic is still going to be a solid option. It does help with the side-to-side recoil as well. So both options are really good. Now, the main reason why everyone picks the Grau and it's still a solid option inside Warzone right now is because assault rifles are mainly used for long range, and the main stat that makes them usable is the recoil control. And for most players, controlling recoil is relatively hard, but with the Grau, it just makes it super easy to pull down on your stack, and it's such a satisfying gun to use as well. So, like I said, the Grau is still going to be a solid option. Last but not least, we do have at number 1 the Kar98, like I mentioned earlier, and the Kar98 is definitely one of the most picked weapons when it comes to Modern Warfare guns, and I still think this is going to be one of the best snipers in the game when it comes to Warzone overall, and that's including the Vanguard weapons. None of the Vanguard snipers feel extra special right now. Maybe that's just because I'm playing them in Warzone and they might change the stats of the guns, but I do still think the Swiss and the Kar98 will be at the top of the meta for a long time until maybe they adjust the sniper rifles out. But like I said, we'll need to wait and see for that. But for the class setup on the Kar98, you want to use the mono suppressor for the sound suppression and the damage range. For the barrel, you want to use that 27.6 inch barrel, which is the longest barrel for the Kar98. This is going to give you the best bullet velocity. Tac laser, which is going to give you the fastest possible aim down sight time. You do want to use a sniper scope, and that is so you can get the optic that you need to actually use this weapon, but also it doesn't con your aim down sights nearly as much as the variable zoom scope. Then for the stock, I do like the sport comb. You can go for the precision comb. You can choose any other attachment you like in this slot, but personally, I like the sport comb because I do think it gives you that super quick ADS time that can beat out most assault rifles, never mind sniper rifles. And the Kar98 is just going to be a solid weapon overall, and I do think it is the best Modern Warfare weapon in the game right now, and that kind of goes for the most part of how the meta is played out at the moment. So we'll just need to wait and see if that changes. But like I said, those are the 5 best weapons that you can be using from Modern Warfare going into the new Caldera map. And if you enjoyed this video and learned something new, don't forget to subscribe to the channel as we're trying to reach our goal of 10,000 subscribers, and click the link down below and subscribe to our second channel. Thank you very much for watching.